everybody. Hope you are well today. Sorry, that was a bit of a wah. Hi, it's lovely to be joining you this afternoon. Just wanted to come on today to have a quick chat with you about making mistakes. Making mistakes, we've all done it. We've all made mistakes of varying severity throughout our lives and what have you. But just wanted to talk to you about mistakes and what they mean for us and what we do about them afterwards. So generally there are two schools of thought. Sorry, don't know if you just heard the cat. There are two schools of thought in terms of making a mistake. There are people who make a mistake and move past it. And there are people who make a mistake and feel that they've then got to pay for that for the rest of their lives, which ends up leading to all sorts of things. So let's say that you have made a mistake and there's a consequence for that mistake, as often there are. We can choose whether we deal with the consequence, accept ownership and responsibility and move forward past that, or whether the consequence doesn't feel enough, whether actually we have to continue to do this for the rest of our lives. So I'm just trying to think of a suitable example. So let's say that what can I utilize? Maybe having an affair. So having an affair, obviously very difficult set of circumstances. There's usually a reason why certain things happen, and sometimes these can be a build up over time. But let's say you make a mistake in your relationship and you end up kissing somebody that you didn't want to kiss, or that you did want to kiss, or things just kind of build up over a longer period of time. So in those circumstances, yeah, of course, that's a mistake, and that's not the best way to go about dealing with things when there's a problem in your relationship. And also, it's much better if you decide that you don't want to be with somebody, if actually you end that relationship before embarking on another. But situations happen, mistakes happen, and we have to all remember that we are a work in progress, and maybe there is a consequence for that action. So maybe your relationship breaks down, but maybe you come stronger out the other side. So the most important thing to remember with a mistake, no matter how seemingly big it is that at some point you have to draw a line under it. At some point you have to say, right, I'm going to move myself from blame to ownership and responsibility. I'm going to take ownership and responsibility for these particular parts of it. Remember that in some mistakes there's more than one person involved, so should the blame solely rest on you, or actually were other people involved who made their own decisions about it? Likely yes, likely that if somebody else was involved, they made their own decisions around what was happening. So when that situation is done and dusted and you are dealing with the consequences afterwards, the most important thing is to decide when you are going to draw a line, when actually it can't be something that carries on moving into your future, or even worse, get stuck in your past. I'm speaking to a few clients at the moment who've got like these threads clinging them onto their past, clinging them into that moment where it happened, and continuing to punish themselves. So even though they've moved to a better place in their life now, they feel that they have to self-sabotage. So they feel that they have to deal with that through bad moods, holding back, not wanting to be vulnerable, not wanting to be open, holding this secret that they carry around with them. And at some point we have to decide that actually that's something that we want to stop taking with us, and it's about focusing on the learning from that. So what have you learned from that situation? Is it, if I'm having difficulties in my relationship, I will talk about them with the person? Is it that it's okay to accept that I made a mistake? We're human, we make mistakes, but actually it's now time to move forward with my life and find ways of reconciling that with yourself so that you can be you again, be exactly who you're meant to be, and move forward to the things that you are meant to have. So any changes that you can make to ensure that that mistake isn't repeated for whatever reason, things that you can put in place. So maybe it's things like, in my new relationship, I will focus on having date nights. I will focus on making sure that I'm always honest about how I'm feeling. I will focus on the positives of that relationship, whatever it is. So it's about making sure that there are changes that you make to make sure that there isn't a repeat of the behaviour again. But the most important thing is, when are you ready to draw a line? When are you ready to say that past situation doesn't need to affect me anymore? Is it something that you can literally draw a line in and let go yourself? Is it something that you need to process? And the processing is what I help my clients do on a day-to-day basis, is making sure that they can process their past traumas, difficulties, mistakes, whatever it is, and feel like they can build up their self-esteem again in order to be able to earn this, to be able to say, yeah, do you know what? I've got a lot to bring to the table, and yes, I made a mistake in the past, but that's exactly where it is, in the past, and that actually I'm ready to move on and be the best I can be with this person by my side. So really important to think about, when are you ready to let it go? How are you going to let it go? What learning have you got from it? And what changes are you going to make to ensure that that's not repeated behaviour? Maybe making the mistake in the first place was enough of a lesson not to do it again, but if there is anything else that you can do, then that's also a good thing. So maybe spend a bit of time with those thoughts if you are dealing with a past trauma or difficulty or mistake that you need to move past. And maybe start a conversation with me, drop me a message and let me know what your difficulty is and how I might be able to help you. I can tell you much more about the service on a one-to-one basis then, and just let you know how I would personalise it so that it was really, really specific to what you're experiencing and how we'll work together to get you past that. So do drop me a message, and I would love to speak to you soon. You take care. I'll see you tomorrow.